This is reporter Jen Glenn with a special report. Today I'll be interviewing the prophet Jonah. Jonah, tell us how this trip to Nineveh started.
God told me to go to Nineveh.
What did you do?
I got on a ship to Tarshish.
Isn't that in the opposite direction?
Of course it is, but God found me.
Tell us about that.
Well, this big storm arose. I told the crew it was my fault and to throw me overboard. I would rather drown than go to Nineveh. The crew tried their best to fight the storm, but eventually they had to throw me overboard.
Is that when the fish swallowed you?
Yes.
What kind of fish was it?
Honestly, I don't know. All I know is something swallowed me. It was all dark and smelly. It felt like I was down there forever. So it eventually spits me up on shore, and God tells me again to go to Nineveh. So I went.
What happened at Nineveh?
I told them they have 40 days until they are overthrown.
Anything else?
Nope.
Didn't you tell them about God's mercy?
No, I wanted God to destroy them. They're idol worshippers, terrorists, and our enemies.
What happened?
Everyone repented. I mean everyone. Even the animals were dressed in sackcloth and fasted.
What happened next?
When God saw they repented, He canceled their destruction. It made me so mad.
Why were you mad?
I wanted God to crush them. Plus, I was a little jealous. I'm a prophet in Israel. They never repented.
Can you tell about that?
I prophesied that King Jeroboam would restore the land our enemies had taken. God prospered the king. The economy was great and everything was going well.
What happened?
I was hoping all these blessings would turn the people back to God. But instead, they built altars to false gods. They even ridiculed the prophets. That made me so mad.
So let me get this straight. When you prophesied destruction to Nineveh, everyone repented. When you prophesied blessings on Israel and God brought about those blessings, the people turned away from God.
You got it. They made me so mad.
Okay, let's get back to Nineveh. What happened after everyone repented and God decided to cancel his judgment?
I told the Lord to just kill me. Then the Lord asked if it's right I'm angry. Of course it's right. It just made me so mad.
What happened next?
I stormed out of the city and made myself a little shelter. Then I just watched to see what God would do.
What happened?
Nothing. No judgment, no nothing. It was getting really sunny and the sun was beating down. So God made me some shade.
The gourd?
People call it a gourd, but I'm not sure what it was. All I know is it gave me shade. It felt like God was trying to soothe my grief.
Isn't this similar to God's mercy on Nineveh? Rather than let the sun beat down on you, God provided you shade. Rather than letting his wrath beat down on Nineveh, he covered them in his mercy.
Maybe. Anyhow, the gourd made me really happy. Then God brought a worm.
A worm?
It was this ugly worm that ate up the gourd. Then the sun was beating down on me, and God sent this blistering east wind. I fainted.
It seems God was teaching you a lesson.
So I would eventually gain consciousness, and all I wanted to do was die. Then God started to talk to me about the gourd.
What did he say?
He asked if I was angry about the gourd. Of course I was angry. So I told him I was angry.
And then what?
God told me that if I could have compassion on the gourd, that he has a right to have compassion on Nineveh. He talked about how many people were in the city. He even mentioned the cattle.
Well, that makes sense. The people humbled themselves, but so did their animals.
Are you saying God will have mercy on anyone, even animals that humble themselves before him?
I think you just said it. So, what happened next?
That's the end of the story.
Well, there you have it, folks. The story of Jonah and Nineveh.